Now. Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Yes, welcome all of my friends to Couch Pilots, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but everyone else calls me the Black Cadillac, and across from me is my Captain DeVille. It's Philip Russisher. Good evening.
Oh, when you said Cadillac, I was afraid you were going to call me a Pinto.
No, I would never do that. That's the worst car ever made next to the Gremlin.
Well, you know, I was worried. You're like, Cadillac, it's like hard to beat that. But you're like, DeVille.
You're a DeVille, baby.
That's
you know what? You're my DeVille.
Aw, you're my caddy.
What's
Black? Oh boy,
Yeah.
We are knee deep in starting off the new year. I have been sick as a dog, and so just listeners, I may cough during this. It's not because of smoking.
I was gonna say you usually cough because of that.
Right, but it's a different kind of cough, and it's an upper respiratory infection.
Can you demonstrate both types of coughs right now?
No, it's more. I'm like I'm an improv guy. I can only like do it at the time it's needed.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
I don't think so. I wasn't going to call you out on it, but that did not make sense. But you know what? Maybe the infection has gone to... Now, which one is this? Is that the respiratory one?
That's the respiratory one.
Usually if I cough like that, and you did something with your mouth there, usually when I cough like that, like something comes into my mouth and I need to get rid of it.
Right.
What's happening in your mouth?
I'm supposed to be getting rid of it.
Do you have something in which to be getting...
I can get something, a spittoon. I got a spittoon here on the passenger seat.
Pretty disgusting, but if you need it, I would say by all means get it.
That's what I was worried about. I didn't want to disgust you, but yet, you know, the doctor says whatever comes up, get it out so it doesn't go back down into your lungs.
I agree with the doctor. You know, I'm not a registered physician.
Do you have nursing information?
But I do have enough nursing information to get by.
Yeah, that's what the most of this is going to be tonight is that kind of cough, that very wet cough.
Mm-hmm. The kind that you know something was dislodged and needs to be expelled.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ah, boy, you're sick as a dog. You almost passed away recently due to the sickness. And then it would have been, you know what, a flight for one. One is the loneliest flight number.
Do you have like a backup pilot that you would use? I mean, because
I feel like we've talked about this a lot. Don't you?
That's true. We have talked about it a lot. I'm very scared about that.
About what?
I'm scared about our partner. We're like a tag team partner in wrestling.
I'm Marty Jannetty, and you're the other guy.
Yeah.
Nothing ever came of that other guy, I think.
Right. So I'm always worried about what's going to happen. What's going to be that next step when that time comes? Because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the listeners. All 7 of them.
What do you mean, the next step?
Well, if one of us perishes...
When you perish.
Are you in that good of health that you won't? Because you get it up.
And then you do everything in the middle.
And then you bring it back down. And
we need those pieces to fit together for the whole thing to work.
Right, because if you're not here, I can't get it up.
Then I'm not queer.
You know what? If you were, I would still love you just as much.
Oh, that's awfully nice.
Yeah. Your sexual orientation would not bother me.
I'll
fly with a fag, I don't care. Right?
I guess. I don't know.
Well, if you say it lovingly, I mean, it's not like I said, you know, put an F on the, you know, tie an F to the tree. You know, I mean, that's different. But I'm like, hey, I'll fly with
what about when you tie an old ribbon to the old oak tree? That's not hateful, is it?
It's the hateful eight. No.
What's the difference between tying a yellow ribbon to commemorate a soldier around a tree versus tying a homosexual to a tree?
I think one would be a hate crime.
Which one?
I'm going to say the homosexual. I mean, it might be wrong.
I guess. I mean, if they wanted to do it, it wouldn't be a hate crime.
Right. If they were into that like kind of fetish thing.
Yeah.
Like being tied up.
I understand that.
Yeah. Like if because I've seen people on like the internet that are like in love with like inanimate objects. Like I watched this one thing where the guy was like in love with this roller coaster, and like he was laying down next to it and rubbing it, and like the grease, he was putting the grease around on his face.
That can't be real.
It looked real.
What was it? What was that? A MTV check out my fetish show?
It's something like that. It's a, you know, and so I'm like, hey, if a guy can be that in love with a roller coaster that doesn't even work anymore,
Oh, it was a broken down roller coaster?
Yeah, it doesn't even work anymore. But he would like rub the grease on his face, and he was like caressing it. Like, like the bolts and stuff.
That's
he was talking
it's a
very
sickness.
Yeah. So
You don't have anything like that, do you?
not that kind of sickness.
Well, yeah. Well, can you any that you can talk about?
Upper respiratory infection.
Yeah.
Bipolar disorder.
Is it sexual in manner?
Severe depression.
That's sexy.
I got all those.
Oh boy.
How about you? And you have any ales?
Any what?
Ales?
Ales? Like a beer?
Like a pale ale? No, like anything that ails you.
Oh boy. The gout?
Ooh, you got the gout?
I don't even know really what that is. Is that like a hole in your foot?
No, I think that's when you have a lot of pain in your feet because you eat too much fish and too much mercury.
Is that really what that is?
Part of you can get gout from having too much mercury.
What if you have too many hot dogs? What does that do? Leukemia?
You know what? I think I have saw that on Facebook. Too many hot dogs equals leukemia.
And too much fish / mercury equals gout.
Yep, you get the gout.
I never knew that. I'd be curious to see what gout looks like. Can you see it?
I don't know. I don't think you can. I think it's just a pain and like a swelling. Well, maybe it's a swelling, but there's definitely a pain. I think it's more of an internal than an external situation.
No, then I have no ailments.
Really?
I'm not ailed by anything.
That's great. So you got a new year coming up, right? We're in the new year. It's the 8th of
We're
January.
8 days in. And you know what? The first 8 days have flown right by.
You know what the Beatles said? 8 days a week.
Yeah, they sure did say that. Do you think the Beatles had a New Year's resolution?
Oh, I why would they even need to? Like, they hit all the tops of the charts. They made all the monies. They had all the women's. They had all the fame. What could you possibly like? I'm gonna not get shot this year.
They're probably like, first, I don't want to get shot, but then that happened to one of them. And then another thing is like they probably wanted future technology, you know?
Well, yeah, because that was one of the things that I've heard a lot of things about the Beatles, and they're like talking about how like they were like more advanced in what they wanted to do
Than what was able to be done.
and then once they was that's when they did all kind of the weird stuff. But
When they got into drugs in India.
oh, I love India. The Dalai Lama, is he in India?
Great Indian.
Oh, love that Dolly.
Chickawa.
Big titties on that Dolly.
Not sure what that means. I didn't personally have an ailment, but it's very cold here in Central Illinois, and my furnace stopped working.
Ugh.
And it sucks because my house is very small, and the furnace doesn't have to work very hard.
Sure.
And it just said, fuck it anyway.
It's like I only have 55 square feet to heat.
I live in a standing closet. Albeit a walk-in closet. You walk in directly from outside.
Right. So, so you were running it hard, and it died out.
I don't run it that hard. So a lot of times when it's not freezing,
What do you keep
cold,
it at?
Like when I leave, if it's gonna be 30 degrees for the day, I usually just turn it off.
Really?
And then I get home and I turn it back on.
You're so economical.
And then
Fecal, some would say.
fecal economical?
Frugal?
Feeble? Like a tiny withering person?
I don't know things.
Frugal.
Frugal. Farfig frugal.
Farfin frugal?
Farfin frugal. I don't know anything.
My furnace broke, and it sucks because sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll have
you wake up and you know it's going to be. It's going to be another day of work for you.
and then I walk outside my bedroom because I have a space heater in my bedroom, so it's fine. And then when I walk out there, I see the thermometer and it says 52 degrees, like in my house. It's freezing.
Your Soco bill has got to be like $37.
If it's not, I'm going to talk to the mayor.
Murr.
I'm going to talk to America.
Why you got to talk to John Mayer about it?
To John Mayer? Say, hey, can we get back to that Room for Squares business? That was the album, man. You strayed.
Right, big time. You were getting all that sex, and then you strayed and made bad. Anyway, let's go back. So your furnace isn't working.
It is now. I got it fixed, thank God. Because I had I plugged in 3 space heaters, and then my power went off.
Because you overloaded.
Yeah, I didn't realize that would happen, but it did.
That's not good.
I fixed that. That's fine. I just hit the switch. But yeah, it sucks because my house is freezing cold. I gotta be inside like I was outside.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
Scarves.
We got to worry about pipes freezing.
Right.
Hypothermia. Your refrigerator stopping because it would freeze up.
If it gets colder outside the refrigerator than it does on the inside, the refrigerator doesn't know what to do. It gets very confused.
Right, because in my garage, I think now actually like the compressor is froze up, so it's not working.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cold enough out there. You open the door, the light's on. That little guy's still turning the light on every time you open the door.
But the compressor's like, why? What am I doing?
Right.
Nature's doing the job for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trying to save me some money.
That's it. That's what's going on with me. And I have a New Year's resolution to not let my furnace break again.
Are you gonna do maintenance? A yearly maintenance?
Daily.
Daily.
Yeah. I got canned air. I have a bunch of filters, a wet cloth, and then a new pressure switch.
Nice.
So I'm ready.
How's that pressure switch looking?
It's hot, dude.
Hot like wasabi?
I guess. You quote the Bare Naked Ladies a lot. You like them?
I never even listened to a whole album.
Did I ever tell you my theory on the Bare Naked Ladies?
No. What's your theory on the Bare Naked Ladies?
The Bare Naked Ladies look so they look like gay guys to me, that they should be called We Don't Like Bare Naked Ladies.
That's key. I like that.
And that's it. That's the whole theory.
I like it.
Theory over.
That's a well-rounded theory. Like there's not much for interpretation.
I think gay guys do like ladies. They just don't like them bare naked.
Right. They want to talk to them and go shopping with them.
Right.
They just don't want to see them naked.
Exactly right.
Because they don't like their lady parts. Mm-hmm. How can you not look at a vagina and be like, that's awesome? Like every time I look at a dick, I'm like, that's fine. I don't need to deal with that. But if it's a vagina, I'm like, I'll take it. Roast beef hanging or not.
I was gonna say there's a lot of I've seen a lot of dicks in my days, and they're all more or less pretty similar.
Sure.
But a vagina is like a snowflake. It's very like
no two are the same.
It's a mystery down there, smothered in secret sauce, covered with an enigma. I don't know.
Go ahead and picture that, folks. I have a New Year's resolution.
About my furnace too?
No, not about your furnace. It's all about me.
Okay.
I plan on taking a solo flight around the world this year. It's never been done before.
Wow. When are you going to do this, and what aircraft are you going to do it?
I haven't figured out those details. I just wanted to put something out there that I felt was accomplishable yet difficult. And so I know that there's a lot of people who have tried to go around the world in a single plane and then not been able to do it.
I think one of the only guys who's been around the world was Puff Daddy, right?
Around the world.
Oh, Daft Punk, I guess, too, have been around the world.
You.
You're welcome. But that was been around the world. Nah, nah, nah.
I can't find my airplane.
That was Puff Daddy, right?
I think so.
Or was it P. Diddy?
Now it's Brother Love.
That's so stupid.
But there's already a Brother Love.
So from the WWF?
Mm-mm. There's already a singer, Brother Love.
Wasn't there? There's a Brother Love in WWF, though, right? He was like a Southern preacher kind of character. He wore like a white suit, and he painted his face red.
Red, yeah.
Like he was always screaming.
It's like the Undertaker's manager for a while, I think.
Was he? He may have been.
I think so. If only we knew someone that knew about wrestling.
Alas, we do not. I would say that's a good resolution.
Thank you.
I believe that you can accomplish it.
Thank you.
Because of the amount of moxie you have.
What's moxie?
Go getting.
I'll go get it right now.
Go, like, if you were to go get it.
If I get it, got it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Kentucky bourbon barrel ale, pale ale.
I'm drinking a Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Imperial Starfighter.
Can that be drunk? It's 10%.
Is it really? You were going to be wasted.
It's 10%, man. So, I mean, do with that information what you will.
I like it.
Boy. New Year's resolutions. I solemnly swear to do another year of this show, at least.
Yeah, let's do it. I got nothing better to do.
And what is the show? Failed television pilots, right? One episode. Yeah, pilots from the past. Only one episode. And they can be seen by you and me. Pilots.
Sure, that's what we do.
It's funny, though, because it's like you and I are airplane pilots, and then there's television pilots. It's a pun. It's one of the many flaws of the English language, right?
There's more than one meaning for a word.
Yeah, that's no good.
Right.
I don't like that.
Like, just give us one word that has one meaning.
Right.
We would all have graduated faster.
I think more words is a pathway to early graduation for sure. I would also say that the Chinese language, Mandarin Chinese, has, instead of 26 letters in their alphabet, they have thousands upon thousands of characters.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No wonder they have so much turmoil in their countries. Nobody knows what anybody's saying.
Do they have turmoil?
They can't concentrate and communicate.
I didn't know that. Oh, the poor Chinese. Good luck, Chinese. Today we're discussing the pilot episode of The Boys from the year of our Lord, 1974. Great year.
You know what? It was a great year because my parents had sex with each other, and my dad put his seed in my mom's hua-hua, and I was incubating at this point.
I thought you were born in the 70s.
I was born in 75. So I was.
That's right.
I was no longer a gleam in my daddy's eye. I was actually a sperm just a swimming and swimming and swimming.
A little white tadpole.
I was the strongest tadpole of the bunch. That was the last time I ever won a race.
Did you say hoo-ha or hua-hua?
Hua-hua.
I never heard that before. Is that?
When I talk about my mom, I always say hua-hua because I don't want to be disrespectful.
Well, okay. Right now we're not talking about your mom. What's
Okay.
a disrespectful term for the lady part?
Cunt.
Yeah, that's probably the worst one, right?
Right. That's why I was trying to think of the worst. You can always say the worst, hope for the best.
I was hoping you were going to say the best worst word. 1974. It was a long time ago.
Man, it was a long time ago.
It was about like 100. Oh, I'm sorry.
43 years ago.
That's a while.
It's been a while.
No, this is 2018 now.
Oh, it is 18. So it's been 44 years ago. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Got a birthday coming up in a couple months.
The Ides of March. I wasn't alive back then. I was -7 years old, right?
I was -1.
Just a sperm, little spermicidal floating around.
Spermicidal maniac.
I guess. And we go, we say, hey, you know what? We're about to talk about a pilot that happened long ago. We have to be able to talk about it in a timely fashion as far as when it was released, because it's 2018 now.
Right. You can't judge a pilot based on today.
Yeah.
Like when I came out of my mom's Wawa,
Right.
I don't want people, the doctors and the nurses, to judge me like I am now, right?
You want them to judge you as a little tiny baby. The one who won the spermicidal race.
Yes.
Right? They say that's the last race this baby will ever win.
Right. I can see already under looking on his face. He looks lost.
That's right.
I think I accidentally won. I think everybody just like turned around and said, "Fuck it, let him win."
I would hate for me to get an A+ on a paper in first grade, and then take that same test today and said, "Of course you're going to get an A+. You're 100 years old now." No, I don't want to be judged like I was when I was a little kid. That's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair to me now. It's not fair
right.
to the kid back then.
Right. Just like these pilots. I mean, things were different back then.
Mm-hmm. So physically we can't go back, but we have to think about it. We have to put our minds there. So we go back in time in our minds and talk about events from 1974 so we can properly take apart this pilot, reassemble it, and assign it a score. The Kootenai War. You ever hear that?
The Kootenai War? No.
I'll say Kootenai. Maybe that's how you say it. Kootenai Native American tribe in Idaho declares war on the United States.
Holy shit.
On September 20th, the 67 members of the Native American Kootenai tribe, headed by Amy Trice, declares war on the United States government as a final effort to gain attention to the tribe's loss of land and subsequent troubles.
We've been taking the Indians' land since the dawn of time.
Oh my God, we've been taking them to task since we set foot on this beautiful soil.
Their horses, their women, their blankets, their corn. Mm-hmm. But we can't take their casinos. That's one thing you cannot take is their casinos.
Yeah.
But I can't believe that in the mid-70s, this lady Indian was like, "Hey, we're going to war with the government." They're not going to win.
No, they won't.
They would never win. They have
spears
and bows, and
arrowheads,
hatchets.
Yeah,
that's all they got.
Teepees
for their bunk holes. That's really bad. I apologize. Jeez.
Teepees for their bunghole.
They weren't going to win, so they were just doing it. It was more of an act of
Defiance.
Defiance and getting attention.
The war was peaceful.
Oh, well,
And mainly involved charging tolls to pass through tribal lands near Bonner's Ferry, that's in Idaho, along U.S. Highway 95. They also distributed information to those passing through detailing the problems of the tribe.
you know what? That's a good war, a good peaceful war. I think if we had a lot more peaceful wars in this world, there'd be a lot less destruction.
I think that they probably did that just to gain attention, because by the same context, you could call what Martin Luther King Jr. did a war.
A war on
But he
the
didn't.
whites.
It wasn't a war. He never said it was a war, but he's just like doing the same stuff, right? Like,
Sure.
anyway, the war gained a lot of publicity for the Kootenai tribe, and the U.S. government gave the Kootenai 12.5 acres of land to end the war.
12 acres? That's not that much. If you're going to war with the United States, you need to want more than 12 acres of land.
I tell you what, I could really use some land.
12 acres, though. I mean, it's not that much.
This gives me an idea.
You have an idea? Mm-hmm. Okay, go for it.
I would like to take this opportunity to declare war on the United States of America.
Yes!
However,
Oh.
this could all be avoided if the U.S. government simply forked over to me 12.5 acres of land.
You know what? I think with our social media bursts that we get, we can hashtag. I'll hashtag this episode. Hashtag declare war on the United States. Stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah, you know what? U.S. government, you're on notice.
Yeah.
24 hours, make your decision.
We're on lockdown right now.
That's right.
By January 9th, this shit's going down.
You don't want me distributing literature.
Oh God, you don't. Paper cuts, the ink on your fingertips. Ugh, you don't want none of that.
I'll pass, right?
Thank you.
It's up to you, U.S. government. Stephen King, a 26-year-old author, published his debut novel, Carrie, during April of 1974. Carrie was actually the fourth novel that King had written, but the first to be published, helping to launch his prolific career. The story focused on a bullied and sheltered teenage girl who discovers that she has telekinetic powers, ultimately using her powers to seek revenge. The novel is credited with revitalizing the horror genre during the decade, and it became massively popular. It also adapted for a 1976 feature film that was nominated for several Academy Awards.
Yeah, Stephen King's been all over horror from that day on.
1974.
Wow.
44 years he's been in the writing business.
And I think he's wrote 178 books.
Have you read any of them?
No.
What about Cujo?
No, I remember the movie.
Christine?
Remember the movie.
Pet Sematary?
Remember the movie.
Cell?
No.
The Stand?
No.
The Dark Tower?
No.
A different one?
It.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Heard about it. It's too thick.
Well, what is?
Huh? The book.
Oh, the book? Okay.
Supposedly in that book, those kids have an orgy.
Yes.
In the book.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 kids and one girl, and they
Yeah.
all have sex with the girl.
Yeah. And
Why would he write that?
She was the one that was like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, why would that to me is like like with all this Harvey Weinstein shit, where's Stephen King's name?
Right.
He's got to be
He's got to have said something to somebody or done something to somebody. He's wrote about it, for Christ's sake. I think every one of his books has some kind of pedophilia kid fucking thing.
Really?
I think I've heard.
Jesus. Why are they so popular then?
Because everybody likes to kid fuck. They just don't want to admit it.
All right, let me make a note of that. And with several Academy Awards. Did you ever see? You never saw the movie Carrie, right? Because it's a movie, and you don't.
I just saw the one part where the pig's blood on her.
Well, actually that's the most famous part. But the part in the very beginning, there's a bunch of naked girls in the locker room.
Okay, let me write that down.
It's Carrie,
C-A-R-R-E-I-I-E,
C-A-R-E-I-E.
except after E, C.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, just check out the first few minutes. That's all you really need. You get the gist of it. President Gerald Ford gives unconditional pardon to Richard Nixon. Tricky Dick.
Tricky Dick. I am not the crook.
Hanya, hanya,
I am not the crook. I'm Adam Sandler.
hanya. Not a cuckoo.
You know what? Give him pardon or give him death. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
you know, what he did was that bad.
He taped conversations at the Watergate and
Hotel.
Right.
Yeah, just tape some conversations.
I don't know.
Was it something to do? I mean, what? I don't know for sure what was that was so important about it that was so bad.
I don't know either. I guess.
We've sold guns to countries and to militias. How much worse can it be than that?
Full pardon.
You're off the hook, buddy.
Gerald Ford. Was he the president? No, he wasn't the president when you were. Yeah, maybe he was. Who's president when you were born? Ford?
I can Google it.
Probably Ford and then Carter.
Yeah, definitely the Carters.
I didn't know.
Peanut farmer.
Yeah, he was a peanut farmer. I don't know about you, but all those things I just said put my mind back in 1974.
I'm there. I can better judge this pilot.
But how did we choose the pilot?
Oh, there's 3 simple criteria. Thank you for leading me into that. First, it was a failed pilot that never went to series. Whether it was aired or not was irrelevant. Number 2, we had to find it on the interwebs. We have to find it to watch it to rate it.
Right.
Find it, watch it, laminate it, rate it.
I feel like there's an extra step in there. I can't put my finger on
Middle
which.
folder.
Well, okay, we'll look through the folder later. That's fine.
And then the last one is it has to be free. We have no money. We're bleeding dry right here.
We're hemorrhaging funds.
We're doing it, though. So it's got to be free.
Give us podcasts or give us death.
Or give us death.
Right. For free. So where can you find the boys to watch for yourself? You can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots and Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube, and you know what to do, Tube.
That's good. I like that.
Do you know?
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
With this cold, my ears are cloggy. So I have apologized if some of the levels are loud.
You know what to do, Tube. What's the last thing you watched on YouTube?
Today, The
What?
Boys.
Oh, did you just watch it?
Today, this afternoon. That was the last time I was on YouTube.
Okay.
But I knew what to do, Tube.
Oh, that's good. The worst thing is like going on to YouTube and not knowing what to do, too.
Right. Because then you're like, just looking around.
That's no good. You look like an idiot. Summary of the pilot. Harry Rufkin and Eddie Ryan, a television comedy writing team, live radically different lives away from the office. Excuse me. Harry is a swinging bachelor who chases women all of his free time, while divorced and remarried Eddie must contend with both his current spouse and his ill-tempered ex-wife.
It's a good summary. That's a very good summary. I think it's detailed. It's a little wordy, but it's the 70s, and as you understand from the Beatles' White Album, it was a little wordy back then.
I don't know. I don't understand that reference. I trust you, though.
Okay.
I
trust you wholeheartedly.
I have problems with this summary.
Really?
It's a little wordy. I'm not going to dig into it right now, what my problems are. I am going to dig into it. Where in there did they come off as a comedy writing team? I felt like almost nowhere.
It was mentioned. It was mentioned somewhat early on in the first scene where they talk about we got to get back to writing scripts.
Yeah, I think that one line may have given you the notion that that's what they were doing in that office. I don't know. Where's your spit cup?
It didn't come up that time. That's the problem I'm having. It's not always coming up. It's there. It's rattling around, but it's not coming up all the time.
But that's the sick cough and not the smoking cough.
Yeah, that's definitely the sick cough.
Are you having the smoker's cough too?
2 points for you.
Oh, wow! Thank you. I'll
You're
take them. Interesting facts.
Oh, this is a segment of the show. It's just the name of the segment. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher. They want names for segments, and so this is a part of the show where you've just kind of scoured the interwebs looking for just things that people might not know about this, let alone they might not know about this at all. But this is a deep dive.
Let me tell you what. No one
It's like
knows.
when you go down on a girl. You're going on a deep dive.
Deep dive is how that's called.
Yep. Stop at the belly button and take a whiff first. It's only, you can't turn back.
That's tribal knowledge. Yes, dive deep. No one knows about the boys. Let me tell you that. No one knows about this show. No one ever knew anything about this. This is a pilot that no one ever saw.
Wow.
But despite that, I dug deeper. I'm going to tell you some things, and these facts are set in stone. Just take them in, listen to them.
just
I'm going to tell you
listen to
about them. Just listen.
Let's not make a big production out of it because it doesn't work. People still screw it up.
Release date, May 16th, 1974.
Okay, so that's early.
Television season ends.
Yeah.
They say, you know what? Let's Let's lick this stamp and slap it on the envelope.
So it did air.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. 1974. And middle of May. The Ides of May, some would say.
Like the forehead of May.
Stars Tim Conway. You may know him from the Carol Burnett Show, as also as Dorf, the faux midget.
On golf. Dorf on golf.
Dorf on everything.
Dorf on football. Yeah.
He did a Dorf thing as recently as like a couple years ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
His many TV appearances over the years, including The Golden Palace, which was a spinoff of The Golden Girls.
Oh, that's cool. I still haven't looked into that.
Yeah. The Golden... I mean, do you have any real interest?
Very much so.
Really? Mm-hmm. Also stars Herb Edelman. You may know him from the Carol Burnett Show as well. The Odd Couple, as well as...
The Golden Girls. He was staying on the Golden Girls.
You bet he was. Oh, I thought of you immediately.
Got a Golden Girls bump.
Yeah. Interesting facts over?
Okay.
There's nothing out there. This thing is... I don't know.
You turned over a log that has been sitting on the ground for hundreds of years.
It was rotting. I expected to see all sorts of
Beetles,
potato bugs, maggots,
worms,
buried bodies,
treasures.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing under there. Dry as a bone.
Really? All right. Well, I enjoyed them, if that helps any.
Oh, I peppered them in with Golden Girls references to make you enjoy them.
Thank you.
Interesting facts. Over Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. I can't wait to hear some Twitter responses.
You have to wait longer because no one responded because they're all dead. I guess we're still doing promos. Metal Hand of God.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hola.
I am Wayne,
I'm the rum guy.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Adam.
and we are the Metal Hand of God podcast.
Are we?
Better
Yes, we are the most. What are we? The most what?
Dangerous, I think.
Dangerous. That's right.
We're the most
Is that
dangerous podcast on the internet.
We are.
You need a safety vest to watch us?
We do.
To listen? I guess?
Yes.
You also need a condom
And
yes.
a hard hat.
Yes.
because
Very much.
we'll get you pregnant.
Yeah.
Steel-toe boots are required.
So, if you like silliness, dick jokes, sometimes serious topics, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
absolutely no political correctness whatsoever.
yeah. None. Then we're the show for you. That's the Metal Hand of God podcast. And remember to keep it metal. Yeah.
Metal. I can't do it. I'm sick. Metal. Love those guys. Nice. I can't. I physically can't do it.
Metal.
I probably won't sing for the next month on this show.
Metal Hand of God.
Yeah, it's a good show.
What does that mean, you think? Metal hand.
It's like the strong hand.
The
of
Iron
God.
Fist of Christ?
The Iron Fist of Christ. That's what they should have named it.
Let's do a competing show.
Iron Fist of Christ.
Now that the network is defunct, we can have a competing show with a similar like tone and name.
Let's do it.
The Iron Fist of Christ.
I would love to spend more time
You'll be
podcasting
Christ.
with you.
You'll be
that's a lot of pressure.
And then you'll hit me.
Over and over?
Sure.
Cool. Let's do it.
And then we can talk about metal things and say the N-word.
Nobody take that Twitter.
Yeah, don't take the N-word Twitter, please. 1974 brings us The Boys, and now we bring you the plot of The Boys. Right? Let's break down.
Let's break down the pilot.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right, and that's the little film countdown that it has, so you know that it's old.
Yeah.
And first thing, there's a typewriter, kind of typing in the intro, and it's writing it on. It's got pictures of Tim Conway and the hairy guy, and there's like red and black pictures, like silhouette pictures of him, and it's very like 70s funky music. Like it's kind of like it was a cross between like 70s cop show music and like 70s porn music.
Yeah, it was. That's a great way to say. Because I wrote down quirky music. It was like.
That's a little bit of both. Harry opens the door and just stands in the doorway, and you see Tim Conway, who is going to be Eddie, behind him, just kind of like because there's a height difference. Just like
That's a great duo though, like because they're on the Carol Burnett Show and they were there for years, did all the sketch comedy. It was a lot of silliness and fun, but comedy is always great in duos, I think. And yeah,
mostly in the 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s duo comedies. Get Dean and the other guy.
Pepe.
No, the guy that had the telethon.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry and Dean, right?
You got
Abbott and Costello.
Laurel and also Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy.
You got the Smothers Brothers.
Sure.
You got Pepe Le Pew and Daffy Duck.
Thank you.
You got some others? No?
No.
Dick and Jerry Van Dyke.
Oh, thank you.
Herb Edelstein is Harry, and he's a tall drink of water.
Always have a cigar in his mouth. Always. Every scene.
Yeah, well, and I have some notes on that. And then you got Tim Conway is a tiny man, and he is they're both white fellas, and it's a great contrast, I think, to see the height difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's like, they got the cool, calm, and collective guy and the nervous, jittery guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like us. You're the cool, calm, collective guy. I'm the nervous, jittery guy.
So which one is that? Am I Herb Edelstein?
You're Herb all the way.
And you're Tim
all day,
Conway?
Day. Yeah, I'm Tim all day, Day.
All day Herb Day?
All day, Herb Day. So they're standing in the doorway, and finally Tim's like, hey, I need to get through. So they go into what appears to be their office.
First thing I noticed is laugh track. That's one of the first things I write.
Yeah,
I was like, here's a typical sitcom style multicam laugh track sitcom.
Yeah, you're gonna have laugh track all through this. And they're discussing. They just got back from a funeral, and it was their friend Mel's funeral, and he was only 43 years old.
Mel Pittman. Hey, you know what? A few months, you'll be 43.
Oh God.
That means you could die. There was really a very slim opportunity for you to pass away before this.
There was a lot of reasons why I thought you picked this in contrast with me and Tim Conway, but that one really hit home.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've seen all the pilots we'll ever watch, and I've committed them to memory, and I pick them according to things such as this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You do a lot more than I do for this job.
I don't do that.
And so they're discussing Mel's death and how early it was, and there's a joke made about how Harry kept saying, "What does it all mean?"
Yeah.
And
existentialism, right?
He's very existential in this first scene, and he's like, "Eddie, Eddie, Eddie," and then Tim Conway is like, "Harry, Harry, Harry." He's like, "What?"
Yeah.
We just there's a lot of comforting jokes. Like there's a lot of them that they made me feel
Borscht
good.
Belt.
What?
Borscht Belt.
I don't know what that means.
Like comics and like in the Borscht Belt.
Oh,
like the Appalachian.
That's like okay in the South.
Yeah, those kind of comics, who would go there on like these big resorts and tell kind of these hackneyed jokes and rip off material. That's what this. There's a lot of that going on in this, and they take Mel Pittman out of the Rolodex very unceremoniously.
Very unceremonious. They didn't have smartphones back then, and so they're talking. They're going back and forth.
Did you ever have to do that?
Have a Rolodex?
You ever know a dead guy and like have to delete him out of your phone?
No, I have not.
No, I've had to do that with like grandparents.
Oh,
like I can't call you anymore unless I get a Ouija board. I bet there's a Ouija board app for a phone, isn't there?
Let's try this. Let's see if we can find one.
Let's use a Ouija board app to contact the now dead Let's Try This podcast.
That's what I want to do. So they're talking, and Eddie's ex-wife calls on the phone. Am I going too far ahead, or are you okay?
I just have that Mel was seeing a dancer.
Yeah, Connie. And she showed up to the funeral, but he was already married, and then there was a joke about
he was married, but he was a little side piece action.
Yeah. I was trying to be respectful to Mel and not discuss that.
Not me.
So Eddie's ex-wife calls and is yelling at him, and she accuses him. You can't hear her. You can only hear his side of it.
And I hate that.
Really?
Did you ever watch Nick Kroll and John Mulaney's stage thing?
Yeah.
And they kind of like jokingly go through the conversations people have on phones where they basically repeat everything that is being said to them so they can respond to it so the audience knows what's going on.
Yeah.
That is kind of the trope that is happening here.
Definitely.
And it's not, they're not, I don't think they're doing it ironically. They know it's goofy, but
it's the only way to get across the message unless you split screen and then hire another actress to play his ex-wife, but she's accusing him of stealing the kids' underwear. That was hilarious.
I mean, why he said the boys is too small and the girls doesn't have a
fly on it.
Yeah, fly. Yeah. That's right.
So then Harry starts talking to Eddie about Eddie's new girlfriend, who is Alice. He's like, you better not marry her, And this is where they discuss. There's, like I said, the one line about them being screenwriters, and that's the only thing that it really tells you what their jobs are.
Okay.
Or how they're partners.
Yep. He said the previous wife, I think her name was Miriam, And he said, I married her in Vegas. He said, I never won in that town.
Right. That was my luck in this town. I figured I didn't focus so much on writing the jokes down because I knew that you would absorb this. You type a lot quicker than I write.
I have to. It's the only way I can do it anymore. They do mention here they're script writers, and then they change in front of each other right in the office.
Yeah, it's just Eddie that changes clothes.
Yeah.
And he gets all the way down into his boxers and his wife beater.
Yeah.
That's just a little taste of the vulnerability of Eddie.
Getting naked. That's a metaphor, you think, for revealing himself.
And also, it's giving you just a little teaspoon of his physical comedy. It's like it's not a physical comedy yet.
They're not going to shove it down your throat,
but they're going to give it some to you.
Okay, I see that.
But I think Tim Conway probably got naked tons of times on Carol Burnett's show. That's probably part of his shtick.
He's the Weinstein of his day.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, come on now.
Harry says, this guy dying. We're like that age. I want to start living for today.
Yeah, start living for now.
He said Mel Pittman's funeral is the best thing that ever happened to me.
This 43-year-old guy dying is the best thing.
Huh.
The next scene, they're at a bar, and Eddie is sitting with his girlfriend at the bar, and Harry comes in with his little ditzy,
his little piece of
one
ass.
Yeah, and she's dressed up like an Indian, which is ironic because in 1974, the Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin Indians.
Maybe she was part of that tribe. Maybe that was Amy Trice.
Obi Trice?
I knew it was coming up. This is where I first noticed that Harry always has a cigar. Mm-hmm. He had it in the first scene. That's fine.
Right.
But this scene, boom, it's like permanently, it's like someone super glued it to his index finger.
He's got a hook finger, and is just keeping it on top there.
That's right. He enters the bar with some broad dressed like an Indian. And then Vicky, and I think is her name, right?
Yeah.
And then they meet Eddie, and Alice is in the men's room.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any. I don't know if he really meant anything like that.
There was no conclusion to that. It was just that was a joke to use. There was no meaning behind it.
Right.
And Harry starts discussing that. You know what? After our conversation today about living for the now, I got an apartment in Malibu.
Yeah. So I'm really changing my life. I'm not going to sit on my laurels. Not going to rest there.
Or your Hardees. Don't sit on your laurels, or don't sit on your Hardees.
Or your Abbotts.
Or your Costellos.
Remember the Abbott scale?
Oh.
Do you remember the Abbott scale?
No.
That was from IBWIP. It's how fat you are. This is the Abbott scale.
Oh, man.
You got to go back and listen to those. Every last one of them. Eddie has set up a date for next Sunday for the four of them. He says all four of us are going to go out. And Harry's like, hold on, I know what you're going to say. And then he's like, and then he leaves because he's like, I know what you're going to tell me, and I told you not to do this. I don't want any part of it. I'm out of here. And he's like, I'm going to get married. What are you talking about?
Right. He had just in the first scene. He said he told Eddie not to get married to Alice because his ex-wife's such a trampy whore bitch.
Why? So at that time he wasn't even like engaged to her. I don't believe.
No, it was just.
And all of a sudden, not only are they engaged, but they're getting married very quickly.
Yeah, a couple weeks. And the next scene is in the sauna. And this is where you get classic Tim Conway. All right?
Yeah.
His mannerisms, you start to see the budding of that.
The first scene, physical comedy, he cranked up to 2.5. In this scene, click, 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 click. 6.3. Exactly, 6.3.
But so Harry's in the sauna, and Eddie wants to come talk to him. I guess maybe they were at a club, like at a guy's club, and the bar was attached to it, maybe? I think that's what I thought it was.
Oh, I thought it was like just a different scene altogether.
Oh, I know. I think it was no, because they had the same clothes on and everything.
Okay.
I think it was they were at the the gentleman's club, and there was a sauna and a sports place and golf probably, and this was like the bar for it.
Well, Harry is stripped down to a towel, and he's just sitting around in there again with a cigar.
Right.
I don't think that's a place where a cigar would work or be appreciated.
No, it would be so humid in there, it would get all
it'd be mushy
and wilty.
Yeah.
But so. Eddie wants to talk to him, and he's like, "Hey, don't open the door. You're letting all the heat out." So then Eddie tries to have this conversation through the window of the sauna, which doesn't work. Keeps opening and closing the door. It's very.
That's the physical aspect of this scene for sure. And trying to slip in and out, trying to speak quickly,
hand gestures, and it doesn't work. So Eddie finally's like, "Fuck it, I'm going in here." And so he goes in and starts talking with his clothes on, and Tim Conway is classic for the slump down his shoulders, like just like. Ugh.
Were you a fan of the Carol Burnett show? Were you around? Did you ever watch that in reruns?
I watched the reruns. Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say that I have a love for Tim Conway.
Okay.
All right, you didn't know that,
I didn't know that going into this.
but now you know.
Well, so okay. Well, I at the end of the last episode, I say, "Hey, we're gonna watch The Boys." You didn't know what that was.
No, I didn't. I don't
So,
do any research.
were you
whatsoever.
delighted to see that Tim Conway was in this?
Oh yeah, when I saw his name come up on the typewriter, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be pretty
Okay.
cool."
All right. Good.
Pretty cool. So Eddie's getting hot, and so he goes out again and takes off all his clothes and comes in a towel, and this is and again he's building up. The steam is percolating on his physical comedy. He's in the sauna and he stands up and he gets his feet on the little things that are burning, the coals that are burning. He's like, yeah. It's just it's comforting.
It's his reacting, right?
Yes.
They're in there to have a conversation about why he left when he's making this announcement. He says, Harry, you can't understand. You've never been in a meaningful relationship in your entire life. And then a girl shows up to the sauna. Was that Vicky again, or was that a different girl?
No, that was Vicky.
Okay, because I was thinking
she just didn't have a feather.
I was thinking this wasn't the same. Like it didn't happen directly after the bar, so there's a gap there and enough time for Harry to find another girl.
This is all the same.
This is the
scene.
same girl.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they have a go to commercial now. Several words from our sponsor, right? They come up as the type letter type.
Right. Before that, though, they were talking. The conversation was basically about friendship versus a partner.
Okay.
And there was a gay joke made during that. I
don't think I caught it.
I didn't. I don't remember articulate it word for word, but there was a gay. Because he's saying, "You're my friend. You couldn't be my partner. You don't go that way, and I'm not attracted to tall guys."
Oh, I do remember.
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that. Yeah. They take a commercial break. They come back and they're at Eddie's house, and all of a sudden it's the wedding day already. And the groom, and it says it gives you like the scene or the I don't know, like a title card that says Eddie's house, wedding day. The groom is nervous, and it says the best man is something. I don't remember.
It's not helping any or something
Okay,
like that,
okay.
or unwilling to do anything. And that's Harry. Harry's the best man, and Eddie's giving him this list of stuff to do, and he's like, "I'm not. How can I do all this stuff?" And he's like, "Go pick up the kids." He's like, "Where am I going to put the kids?"
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of back and forth banter of ha ha ha, and then he's like, Eddie's like, "I better call the ex-wife to make sure that the kids will be ready at 11:30."
The dad's getting married. They got to be here, right?
He looks down at the phone, and he's like, "I just realized that Merida's telephone number spells rodent."
Yeah.
That's cute.
Which I don't think is enough letters.
Not at all. But I don't know. Back then, they did like, give me the 2 to the 75 CB.
I didn't know that. I didn't live in that time.
Well, I was sperm, so I was living large.
They say you absorb the most as a sperm. But yeah,
You're absorbed the most as a sperm. English language again, right?
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Multiple
It
meanings.
just doesn't make sense. Eddie calls his ex-wife, and she's really giving him the business.
Oh yeah, and this is another comedy bit. This is a little bit of physical comedy, but it's a funny thing because Eddie's trying to get a sentence in, and he's trying to talk faster and faster, and it's just his mannerisms and stuff that because he can't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Reminds me so much of my ex-wife.
Miriam does not want the kids to go to his wedding. He threatens to break his hand so he can't sign the alimony checks. Right?
Oh yeah, that was good.
What do you know about that?
Well, I don't know about alimony checks. I just know about child support checks. I've had a lot of them in my life. In my life, I have wrote many. The state of Illinois says I owe $9,000.
Oh, wow. As of right now?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I don't.
Yikes. Well, I mean, do you think that breaking your hand would be an option to get out of paying that $9,000?
No, because now they don't. I don't have to. They don't let me write them anymore. They just take them out.
What on you could you break to get out of doing that?
My penis.
Okay. Are you willing to do that?
Let's see. I've only got like 5 more years. No, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on and fight the good fight.
Okay. Good on you.
Thank you.
Next scene, the wedding is about to start, and they're talking with the pastor, right?
Right. And there's a lot more detailed stuff, but we should just go through the basics of this scene.
Yeah.
What's happening in the scene? They're trying to have a wedding, and the phone keeps ringing. Mm-hmm. And every time, it interrupts the wedding, and it's his ex-wife. And all he wants is for his kids to come over.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
To be there. And the first time it's interrupted, Alice is just starting to walk down the aisle. And about halfway through, he's like, because it keeps ringing. It's at this is at his apartment. The wedding is at his ceremony is at his apartment.
Oh, is it? I didn't pick that up. Okay.
It's at his apartment.
If the first time it rings, for me, I'd walk over to the phone, I unplug it. That's it. You don't have to worry about it again. But that doesn't play comically.
You'd think it would be unplugged at the beginning.
So you think, something would happen.
You think everybody's phone would have been on silent.
Yeah, everyone's cell phones.
And then they're getting ready to do it again, and they're getting into the ceremony again. They both get up in front of the preacher. The phone rings again. He's like, "Hey, are the kids coming?" And she's like, "I got some conditions." Is basically what she's saying.
Yeah.
And she's saying she wants a car and a pool slide. And she doesn't have a pool.
And then he says, "Well, you don't." Well, he says, "What do you want?" He's like, "Okay, a radio flyer, you got it. You want a pool slide, you got it. Hold on a second, you don't even have a pool, you got it."
Right.
Because obviously they're asking for a pool. That was the funniest part of the show to me.
Okay.
I thought that was really funny.
Sure.
That was a clever part because it's that rule of three, using it over and over again, and finally not having to repeat what was said on the phone. Letting the audience say, "Hey, you're smart enough to know they're asking for a pool," and I'm again saying, "You got it."
Right.
I thought that was funny.
Right. So they finally get up there and speak now or forever hold your peace. That thing that the preacher always says. And as soon as he says that, the phone rings again. This is a third time.
If you're that bride, what are you doing? Are you kicking Tim Conway's ass?
You're out the door. You're not even kicking his ass. You're not even wasting his time.
I really thought. I mean, they do end up getting married. Spoiler alert from 30 seconds from now. But I did not think the wedding was going to complete because to me that is a storyline that they can milk for a long time, is building up to this wedding. And they said, you know what? On the first episode, this guy's going to get married, but then something's going to happen to ruin it. So he'll be kind of stuck in this single perpetuity for a while, But that's not the case. They did end up getting married, which I thought maybe a wasted opportunity.
No, I think they needed to get married because that opens up even more stuff between, his ex-wife continue to bother him, continue to bother her, and then the trifes that between the two of them that could cause.
So you think that was the right choice?
No, it's a great good setup.
Well, he goes to answer the phone again. He says, "Are they coming?" And then he says, "Do not call again." It happens again, and Alice, the girl he's marrying, is like being like way tolerant and super polite about this.
I've never had a girl be this tolerant in my life. Yeah. He finally walks over and it's ringing, and he just rips it out.
Yeah, he's had enough. He can't take it anymore. Rips it out of the wall, and then he goes and kisses her. More quirky music. The typewriting credits. The end. Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. Good night, Harry.
It's great.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
I didn't look into the Carol Burnett show. I wasn't alive. I never saw that. I wouldn't mind watching. I really like Carol Burnett. I think she's great.
I like Tim Conway and the other guy, the white-haired guy, the real tall guy.
I think I know the guy. Was he the guy who always laughed?
I think so. Yeah, always broke hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like their mixes of those guys, and then I even liked Mama's Family, which was a spinoff of the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah, that had Vicki Lawrence as Mama, right? Mm-hmm. And it had
Vicki Lawrence was great.
Rue McClanahan was on it, right? Yeah, and Tim Conway was on that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Who was he on there?
I don't remember.
I used to watch Mama's Family too, but like looking back on it, I don't think it was very good.
It probably wasn't. It was comforting. It's like chicken noodle soup.
Not great, but you know it's there waiting for you. You know what you're going to get.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. There's no surprises. No surprise prizes.
Not unlike this show. I think the problems here were that they just threw you in a situation and there's like no context for anything to me. That was the problem I had with it. They said this is a show about comedy writers, and that is not what the show is about at all. It's just about two guys who you assume are friends. You may have caught a throwaway line about them being, script writers or comedy writers, but that wasn't really the basis for the show. I think and if it had gone on, there's a lot more territory to be mined from that, but it didn't play into the pilot whatsoever.
Right. That part did not play into the pilot. Mm-hmm. You're right.
And I honestly, I was hanging my hat on that a little bit. I was like, oh, this could be interesting to see kind of a behind-the-scenes show business show. I know that recently happened with, what was that? The 19th?
Daddy-O?
Yeah. It kind of happened with Daddy-O where we saw behind-the-scenes Hollywood stuff. And even though we're not going to do it on this show, we had mentioned with the Dick Van Dyke Show, right?
Right.
But I would like to have seen that aspect of this show a little bit more.
I think you would have.
Over time, yeah. But in the pilot, if that's what it's being billed as, let me see a little bit of that. I don't know. What do you think was wrong with this show?
To me, there wasn't a lot of turbulence. I have found it very difficult to find turbulence. Of course, all this stuff is dated now, if you're watching it now. But I went back to 1974 in my mind. And so I was back there in 74 when I was a little sperm. and my love for like Tim Conway and that kind of 70s comedy, the kind of not slapstick, but physical comedy, subtle but physical. Like it's possible to have physical comedy, but it be subtle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
And I enjoyed it. I loved it. I could see this, going forward. You've got that bachelor dude with his best friend who is one of those ones that's just a sucker for love, kind of like us. You're
Right.
the bachelor dude, right? Like I'm a sucker for love. I've been married 3 times.
You're a real sucker.
I'm a sucker. And
You're a fucking Palmer over there.
Arnie
No, it's
or Sucker Palmer.
going to have to face it. You're addicted to love.
Oh, Robert Palmer.
No, I think you had it right. Arnold Palmer.
But it maybe that's part of it too. Is it reminded me of our friendship and kind of like what we would be if we were comedy writers, if we knew funny stuff.
If we did anything funny whatsoever, right?
Right, but we don't.
That's right.
But I didn't find a lot of turbulence in it. I thought, okay, I will admit, the wedding scene, you didn't have to go back to 4 times to the phone. You could have got the same thing on 2 or 3.
They really did milk that.
It kind of drug out. That's the only thing I'm gonna say is that scene kind of drug out.
Okay, I don't know. I had some problems with it.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Could we be at words with each other?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I care enough to do that.
Oh, okay.
But it's very clear to me that you enjoyed this much more than I did. But let's see what other people had to say about this.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
IMDb score. Not every one of our pilots, but most of them have a score. The Boys has a score.
It does.
What is that score?
That means there's more than 7 or 14 or 12 people.
There's 5 or more.
I'm going to give it a 6.5.
It's a 7.2.
Wow.
And that is from the bare minimum of 5 ratings.
So that means there was a lot more good ratings.
I would say so. And I would go a step further and saying because there's only 5 ratings, that makes sense that there are no critic or viewer reviews, which is kind of surprising to me. I say it's not surprising because of the amount of ratings, but at the same time,
these two guys,
they're high-profile guys, especially in the mid-'70s, right?
Especially in the mid-'70s.
Carol Burnett, late 60s, early 70s, right?
Yeah.
You would think that there'd be some heat on this show. There'd be something out there talking about it. There's really not.
Wow.
No one's chatting about it. I went to their wiki pages. I went to anywhere that I've normally scoured, all these beaten paths that only I know about on the internet, and nothing is there.
All the little secret clubhouses in the forest.
Yeah, I took my cigar out and
I know what I thought about tonight is I thought about getting one of my cigars out and not lighting it, but just having it the whole time. I thought about doing that.
Oh, okay. Why didn't you do it?
Because I didn't want to waste a Cuban cigar on that.
You have a Cuban cigar?
I got plenty.
Okay, this is something, and this is just shows my own ignorance. People, they say, Cuban cigars until recently, because I think an embargo was lifted. They say for many years, Cuban cigars illegal. Why is that? Is there weed in it? Well, what is it? What makes them illegal?
Because they came from Cuba, and
Just because they're from
anything
Cuba.
imported from Cuba was illegal.
But there's not like an ingredient or something that they're saying.
No, if Cuba made tennis balls, and they're the only place that made tennis balls would be illegal in the United States.
Well, okay, but like that's not the case. People make cigars everywhere. Why would you not want like cigars from here? What's so different between finely made United States?
I think it's
guitars?
because of the
cigars.
It's because of the temperature and how just that's the best place to grow them. They're really good there from there.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a few Cohibas and they're good.
The Cohibas that you have, were they smuggled in illegally, or did you get them since the embargo?
I smuggled them in illegally myself.
How did you get them in your butthole?
Oh no, I didn't use my butthole at all.
What did you use?
2 different suitcases and took the labels off. Put all the labels and the box in one suitcase, and put all the cigars in a Ziploc bag in another case because without the labels, you can't tell if they're Cuban or not.
What? Where did you get them?
Cuba.
When you went to Cuba?
No, I was down in the tropics. I went to Cozumel, Mexico.
Right.
And that's where I got them.
Fantastic. Just fantastic. I've never smoked a cigar in my life. Is it worth it?
I don't mind it. I like it once in a while in the summertime, sitting by the pool.
No critic reviews. No viewer reviews.
Well, there's only one review that matters, and that's our review.
Let's you and I populate the internet right now with our reviews.
And sex.
What?
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My bad.
welcome to
Turn up the volume as loud as you can.
The local time is 11:11, and the temperature is 65 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remember to keep your seatbelt fastened.
Use your cup. There you go. There you go, buddy. How you feeling?
Sorry, it's embarrassing.
I want you to use
it's
it.
disgusting.
I don't want you to be sick.
Uh-oh.
What? Diarrhea.
No, I have lost all headphone contact.
Did you cough your headphones right off?
I think so.
So it's only gonna be me in contact with the control tower.
I have no way of hearing anything.
It's a good thing that it's time to bring it down because that's what I do.
Oh, thank God, that's what you do.
Now we rate, right? 1 to 7. That's the scale. That's the scale. There's no other scale.
No, 1 to 7. Why else would not 1 to 10, not 1 to 5, 1 to 7?
I think there's a whole book of the Bible that talks about that.
It's about the sevenths. The seventh son of the seventh son.
Is the book of Numbers, I think.
Iron Maiden's singing about it too.
Iron Maiden.
Son of the seventh son. Seventh son of the seventh son. Sorry, I can't do better.
Yeah. I would say that
You know that song?
1 is the worst, and 7 is the best.
1's a fucking Roy Biggins.
We have to
sweaty fucking mess.
It's disgusting.
Gross.
Like it's barely worth even the greasy, slimy.
Number 7's a Brian Hackett.
I think what Roy Biggins does is he hacks into a cup every morning, and then he puts his fingers in there like so much pomade and like does his hair.
Yeah,
that's what I think happens. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
that's the worst. No one wants to be. What's that?
I feel horrible. Thank you.
What are you talking about?
Well, I feel like I'm a gross, disgusting guy.
Why is that? What are you talking about?
Because I hack up and I put it in my hair.
Oh, you do that?
And I got McDonald's waiting for me.
Oh, and you have McDonald's waiting for you. Oh, merciful heavens!
I'm a big fat fuck.
Jesus, man. Okay, so you're a number 1. Let's get rid of Roy Biggins and Philip
7,
Ressasher.
which is you.
I don't know about that. I do have a bomber jacket. But that's the scale, 1 through 7. It's all these characters that we're naming. They're from the show Wings,
which is the second best television show ever.
Okay, I think that's not the case, but we'll agree to disagree, and maybe we'll cough in a cup later.
We'll dive into that some other time. Nosedive.
Captain Philip Ressasher, I turn to you. How do you rate The Boys?
I got to give it a Tim Conway bump. Who wouldn't, right? Tim Conway, he's adorable. He's cute, cuddly. His physical comedy. I love those shoulders when they drop. His deadpan face.
You have a real affinity for this man.
Yeah, because I feel like I know him. I feel like I'm except for the height. I would fuck him. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Is I would fuck Tim Conway. And I'm giving this palette a 7.
What?
Perfect score 7. I laughed. I enjoyed it. It's a 7.
That's crazy.
No, it is not crazy. I've seen The Tribe.
Where is well, you didn't see Still Justice, I'll tell you that much. Did you what is so is that a 6 before?
With a bump.
And you give it a 7? You give this a perfect score?
Yes.
Ugh.
How can you not agree with me?
Oh, because it's like a 4. That's
4.
Yeah.
We're at a 7 to a 4. Have we ever been that far apart?
I think probably so.
Should we seek counseling for being that far apart from
No,
each other?
so we're not in holy matrimony.
Oh, I wish we were.
This show is I think we've run into this before. We have great talent and just a shitty situation. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. There is some funny stuff here. It's hackneyed in its jokes. It's standard fare.
It's the 70s.
It is the 70s. I know that because I went back there in my mind. But the truth of the matter is that they just threw a wedding in there, and it's just all built on this. I don't know. To me, this is not as structured as it is. They didn't abide by the rules of sitcoms. They build to a wedding, or have a wedding be called off. There needs to be some turmoil. And I know the wife was shitty. I don't know. I like the contrast of the two. I like Herb Edelman. I like Tim Conway. They're good as a duo. The comedy is dated.
Maybe I related to it personally. You know, with Harry being like you, Eddie being like me, my ex-wife being like this lady on the phone. Maybe I just related to it too much. I enjoyed it.
I don't begrudge you that at all. If you
Thank
saw
you
yourself
for not begrudging me.
If you saw yourself
I hate
in
when
this
you
pilot.
begrudge me. I'm so glad you didn't do it this time.
And you know what? I'm pretty fair about my begrudging, I think.
I've seen you begrudge a lot of people.
When it's warranted to begrudge you, I'll begrudge you.
I mean, I'm not going to stand in your way. If you want to begrudge somebody, you are the man that I would say is most capable to begrudge. But
This is not the occasion in which I will begrudge you.
thank you.
You're entitled to your opinion. You see yourself. This pilot is a reflection of you as a sperm, right?
Yes,
So,
I was the fastest one.
and I was number 4. And with that, we close the book on The Boys, and we will never mention this show again.
Ever.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Mr. Neighbor's House. Here's a little something to whet your whistle. Mr. Neighbor,
I'm an enabler.
I think you are. Get this booze away from me. Mr. Neighbor leads viewers through his whimsical world of puppets, songs, educational discoveries, and deep-seated emotional issues as he prepares for his 31st annual 5th birthday party. The innocence of children's television programming blurs with one man's troubled psyche in this comedic half-hour take on a live-action kids show that is too disturbing for kids. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to adultswim.com and search with your hand dongs? No, that can't. Does that make sense?
Hand dongs.
What rhymes with
Hand dong man.
what rhymes with adultswim.com? Or go to adultswim.com.
Or go to
and
my butthole.
You're,
I don't know. I can't find anything.
we're not going to use that. We're definitely not going to use that. You said butthole?
My butthole. I said my butthole.
No.
You want to use that?
We're not even going to use hand dongs.
Hand dong man.
Couch Pilots
Hashtag
podcast.
hand dong man.
Hand dong man.
Come on, Kev. Hashtag.
Kevin, we're doing this show solely for you. CouchPilotspodcast.com. It's a website. If you want to contact us, there's a multitude of ways of going. I'm not even going to name all the different ways. Just go to the website.
Social media.
Don't be a fucking asshole. Just go to the website,
Right.
right?
There's an email address on there. You can email us. It's couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com. Go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/couchpilots. We've got a lot of different rewards tiers. You can donate once or you can donate monthly. Either way, there's a lot of cool things on. We've just shipped some stuff to L.A.
Oh, did you really?
We shipped some stuff to Australia. And we're, go check it out. It's cool. It's pretty cool. We've talked about them in past episodes, but go check out patreon.com/couchpilots.
Yeah, seriously, anyone who goes and checks it out, thank you very much. If you donate, that's awesome. If you contact the show, you're going to get frequent flyer points. We fly an airplane week, right?
All day,
day. And people get points for listening to the show and sharing it.
Just downloading it, sharing it, liking it, commenting. There's so many ways to get frequent flyer points. You can turn those frequent flyer points in for a possible flight with us, surprise prizes, used underwear, a can of beans.
Oh, is that not? That is new.
That's a new one.
That's
can
a
of beans.
Can of beans.
Yeah, because I've got some extra beans from when I made chili.
You have extra beans, and now that's a prize.
Yeah.
So basically, anything on your shopping list that is surplus becomes a gift.
Not everything. I mean, these beans are special.
Special beans.
If you plant them, something might grow.
Like more beans.
No, like a stalk. Jack.
910 Pilots 1. That's the telephone number you can call. It's available. I mean, we all have phones in our pockets, right? Take it out of your
I got one
pocket.
phone in my pocket, and the
Show's
other
built
one
in
is
the back of
playing a
that song.
piano.
Take the telephone out of your pocket. Dial 910-745-6871 and leave us a voicemail. You're going to get frequent flyer points. It's going to be on the show, and we're probably going to make fun of how dumb your voice sounds.
You know what, guys? We were on a tear right there recently. For a while there, we were on a tear. We got a lot of voicemails. It's kind of dried up.
Do you think it's because I said their voices are dumb?
No.
I hear my voice. It's stupid.
My voice is really dumb in these
Yours
cheap-ass
sucks. Yeah.
headphones.
Oh, it's awful.
But I'm sick, too. But
I'm sick of you, too.
no, we love getting voicemails. Call us whenever. It doesn't matter. It's free. Call us. We would play it on the show. We won't talk bad about your voice. We'll talk bad about your lady parts.
What did you call your mom's parts again?
Wawas.
Wawas. Anything else you'd like to say to our frequent flyers today, Captain Philip Rester?
Check out our Patreon page. Just be a fan. Just enjoy the show. I guess we look for all this help, and we tell you how to just listen to this fucking show. Enjoy it. Laugh. Just have a good fucking time. New Year's resolution. listeners, have a good fucking time listening to the show.
Yeah, everyone's heard of Serial. Everyone's heard of WTF or Adam Carolla. Okay, how about a mom and pop brand? How about being on the van card of something cool?
I love
right?
van cars.
Van cars? Mm-hmm. And with
You can pick
that,
up little kids.
oh Christ, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Namaste.
That's not it. It's namaste, right?